Let's first pay homage to the lineage gurus. Homage to the Venerable Monk Lu-Ling. Homage to masters. Homage to His Holiness the 16th Karmapa, and homage to Master Thupten Dorji. Homage to the three jewels of the altar. Homage to the main deity of the good practice tonight. Amitabha Buddha of the Western Paradise. Sun, Panchen Katsu, Tutan City. All Dharma masters, Dharma educators, Dharma teachers, Dharma lecturers, Dharma assistants, directors of temples and chapters, all disciples present here and over the webcast. Good evening, how do you do? Hola, amigo. Before the Dharma teaching, I would first tell a joke. The director of the children English school found that the personal information has not been filled, so he got Xiao Ming and asked, "What's the name of your mother?" And she replied, "1, 2, 3." And she said, "Your English is good, but what's the name of your mother?" And he replied again, 1, 2, 3. And the director got angry and said, "Write it for me then." It turned out that his mom's name is Huang Tu Suri. So it's a Chinese name, but with a similar sound of 1, 2, 3. This world is a joke. Just laugh it off. Lots of things, just laugh it off. There's no need to be so serious about it. If you're too bothered by it, if you care too much about it, at the end point it'll all be the same. And then if you don't haggle so much about it, it's all the same. Whether you bother about it or not, you would end the same way. Not long, not short, and you don't lack anything. That's how it is. So, in my Buddhist study until now, I don't care. With the pandemic, it'll be like now. It's not bad. Without the pandemic, I still live like this. We still have the epidemic now, right? If one day the pandemic disappears, then you will not get accustomed to it anymore. Someone from Australia asked, Lamdre, please answer my questions. I pay homage to Grandmaster and to Simu. Thank you for your guidance in the dream. I have taken refuge in Grandmaster for over 20 years and have always been practicing every day, never skipping a day. When I train and visualize the inner Homa, treasure vase energy yoga, from inhalation to exhalation, I can hold the breath for 5 minutes. Wow, that's long. So if I pinch your nose for 5 minutes, you would not die, even when my hand is tired. I do it once a day. 5 minutes once a day for over 10 years. Sometimes I'm able to visualize my afflictions to transform to become fire stars, and in the inner Homa I visualize them to burn away and become clear light. When I practice the Vajra chanting, after I take a full breath, I am able to take in 300 more breaths. Wow, scary to death. After take a full breath, breath, he could still take in 300 more breaths. However, all these are possible only after praying for the lineage Root Guru to sit on top of my head and give blessings incessantly during the Root Guru Yoga. My questions are: 1. If I merge the practices of divine water, Vajra chanting, inner Homa, treasure, waste energy, and inner fire with the Root Guru Yoga, would this kind of visualization practice violate the true meaning of the sadhana as specified by Grandmaster? This is a huge question. So he merges the practices of divine water, Vajra chanting, inner Homa, treasure with energy, and inner fire with the Root Guru Yoga. So this visualization practice violates the sadhana? I believe nobody can give an answer because nobody merge everything, all of this together with the Root Guru Yoga. I only know that you can combine the Root Guru Yoga and Vajrasattva practice because the lineage Root Guru is an emanation of Vajrasattva. Therefore, it can be combined. But he merges the inner tantric practices, the divine water and the Root Guru Yoga are combined. Is it allowed? Nobody, and I didn't either. I personally don't do this. Let me consult. Wholeheartedly, I pray. My guru said he did not know. He didn't say it's good or no good. Shen Ching. To have all the inner tantric practices merged into the Root Guru Yoga. My guru also doesn't know if this is allowed. That's your creation. He did not say if it's okay. or not okay? So the second question. I discovered if I have some faults, then qi will immediately be blocked. Then it'll be impossible to practice the treasure vase energy yoga. I can only practice again after repenting. I also found that afflictions can be eradicated by burning them in the inner Homa practice or treasure vase energy yoga. Please advise. Originally, in practicing the inner Homa, you can, amidst the inner Homa practice, you can burn afflictions and sufferings. That's fine. But if there are faults or flaws, the qi will be blocked. Then it will be impossible to practice the treasure vase energy yoga. Only after serious repentance I can practice again. And this is correct. In your Dharma practice, if there are faults, then there would be problems appearing. If there are faults in your Dharma practice, it will not go smoothly. There would be blockages. But if you sincerely repent these faults, then you can practice again. This is correct. Because after you repent a lot of faults and wrongdoings, then things will go smoothly. That's normal. So on point number 2, what you said were correct. 3, Grandmaster said, in quote, Vajra chanting is a gentle treasure vase energy yoga, end quote. I realized upon practicing the Vajra chanting that if one can train to continually swallow the air and hold the breath, then it is easy to prolong the length of time to hold the breath. Then the visualization of the treasure vase energy yoga will be much easier. So Grandmaster, is Vajra chanting a step toward the treasure vase energy yoga? We should say that 9 cycle Buddha breathing is the gentle one. 9 cycle Buddha breathing is the gentlest and easiest kind of treasure vase energy yoga. But I suppose you can also say Vajra chanting is a gentle treasure vase energy yoga. Of these 3 qi practices, treasure vase energy yoga is the most violent, the most intense. And Vajra chanting is the middle. So the stages would be to practice the 9 cycle Buddha breathing, and then Vajra chanting, and lastly the treasure vase energy yoga. So is Vajra chanting a step toward treasure vase energy yoga? It should be, yes. And the first question asked by Wan Jianqing, If the practices of divine water, Vajra chanting, inner Homa, treasuries energy, and inner fire merge with the Rudgururuga, I did not practice it that way. My gurus also did not practice it this way. If you are able to do that, that's your creation. So that's my answer to Ran Shen Ching from Australia. From Taiwan, Lian Hua, Meng Hua. Homage to Grandmaster. If a true Buddha disciple, for example, has insomnia for a long time and hasn't been able to find a solution at True Buddha school through spiritual consultation or the practice of white flower to eradicate negative energy, so I went to the proper Qigong Living Buddha's place to get started and drank his 7 talismans, yet my heart is firmly faithful to Grandmaster. What would happen to my lineage? This question is, if a true Buddha disciple, for example, has insomnia for a long time and hasn't been able to find a solution of spiritual consultation or the practice of white flower to eradicate hindrances and still not resolved, so went to the Qigong Living Buddha to get started and drank his 7 talisman, yet this person's heart is firmly faithful toward Grandmaster. What would happen to the lineage? This kind of question. The proper Qigong Living Buddha. Is there the proper Qigong Living Buddha and the improper Qigong Living Buddha? The upright or the non-upright one? There must be a medium, and the medium drew 7 talisman to alleviate his or her insomnia. Which one? Must be herself, right? She must be talking about herself. That my heart is firmly faithful toward Grandmaster. Would I lose my lineage? She went to the common temple and had the medium for the Qigong Living Buddha who drew 7 talisman. And the insomnia, is it resolved? That's the question. Because there are many causes for insomnia. One time, Grandmaster was close to a neuro his name was Dr. Liu. So he's a mental doctor. And he said, look, out of 3 people in Taiwan, one of them has insomnia. So that shows there are many people who suffer from insomnia. I had this dialogue in the hospital with this Dr. Liu, and he pointed outside of 3 people walking outside, one of them has insomnia. So I asked this Dr. Liu, why would someone suffer from insomnia? There are so many causes. It's innumerable. There are so many factors. And how do you cure insomnia? And Dr. Liu Zhaoxian said, just take sleeping pills. And then he opened his drawer and got this drug. Anybody knows? Does anybody know the name of this medicine? Stiano? Maybe it's English. Stiano. In Taiwan, we say Stiano. There's this kind of pills. So his whole drawer is filled with this Stiano. Long and slim. I give you 30 pills or 28 pills each time. So just take the pills. And some people take melatonin. Because as you age, your light drops, the melatonin in your brain will decrease. Many elderlies would lose sleep and they need to take melatonin. And there's another thing called sleeping aid. And it's no prescription needed. It's over the counter. Simple sleep. I know quite a bit about sleeping aid. Simply sleep. Many kinds. It's a medicine to help allergy. But it would help you to fall asleep, to feel drowsy. So if you have problem falling asleep, take melatonin first. And then you can take sleeping aid. Oh, diphenhydramine, sleep aid, or simply sleep. And then if they still don't help, then you can go find a doctor for prescribed medicine. You should believe in the doctors and doxylamine, sedating, antihistamine. Grandmaster have seen a book this thick that talks about insomnia. Of the 4 small girls from California, one of them, Ruby Sun, bought this book for me. So I read it all about sedating, about. So therefore, Grandmaster is like a healer for sleep. I have read the whole book. Drinking milk, being in complete darkness, take a hot shower, massage the soles of your feet until you sleep well, or massage the whole body. So massage, light, drinking milk, relax, and you need to train in the tightness and relaxedness, and then relax all that's tight, and massage your brain, and acupressures, and massage the heart of your palms, and massage here. When nothing works, the last one, take drugs. And we also have talisman of Fu for insomnia, for helping to sleep. We also have talisman for neurology problems. Insomnia can be related. If someone does not sleep for 4 days and 4 nights, then that person would lose their mind. They would have problems with their psychology and neurology. All problems start from insomnia. Those that have mental problems and then give them talisman, then that night they would sleep really well without any dreams, and then they sleep for a day and a half, and then when they get up, then their mental problem will disappear. So if you cure their insomnia, then their mental problems would be cured halfway. If they sleep 3 more nights, then they would recover. They're spirits. That's from Grandmaster's experience. Those who suffer from mental problems are those who were born in the 2nd and 11th lunar months. And Gautamada told me not to cure them. People that were born on the 2nd and 11th lunar month that suffer from mental problems, because that's their karma. Because they're born with this karma and they will be incurable. And another kind is if they have had the mental problems for over 6 years, there's no need to cure them because they will be incurable. Incurable. Why? Because the nerve cells have been destroyed. It would be impossible to recover them. Any cells in any other parts of the body can be recovered. Only the brain cells, once they're damaged, they cannot be recovered. If they're dead, they're dead after 6 years. If it's over 6 years, there's no need to cure them because the brain cells have been damaged greatly and it will be impossible to recover. That's based on my own experience. I'm not a doctor. But I am a psychological and mental consultant. Once Grandmaster retire, I will not talk about Buddha Dharma anymore. And in Taichung, I would open a center, psychological dialogue, consultation, counseling by Seng Yen Lu, because that's based on my experience. Grandmaster gives spiritual consultation for 50 years. So many different symptoms and situations, and so many incurable symptoms and prognosis. In Taichung, there was a Jinghe nursing homes or psychiatry hospital. They specialize, they're mental hospital. So doctors told me for the mental patients, the psychiatrists would tell the mental patients that, sorry, we cannot cure you, so go find Seng Yen Lu. You know, I woke up at dawn, and when I opened my front door, and then the mental patients with handcuffs and leg cuffs come to my house, and I asked, where are you from? From the Jinghe hospital. The doctors told us to come. The mental patients that Grandmaster had cured is a train full of them. I'm not a doctor. I did not prescribe medications or give injections. The first method is by blessings. the local custom or traditional healing, I use my palm to give you blessings. If you carry little stuffs of ghost with you, then I could beat them out of your body. And then I would draw talisman, let them drink the talisman water. Therefore, it was popular words. And they said, if you go to the doctor and the doctor cannot cure you, then you will find the barefoot doctors. It's like the you know, it's like the local shamans and things like that. If they still cannot cure you, then go find Sang Yen Lu. I was very well known for that. A female boss of a restaurant in California. She was selling the soybean milk, the soybean king in Taichung before, and now she opened a restaurant in California. I cured her, and she spread the words to hundreds of people, and she had huge connections. And everybody knew she went to so many mental doctors, psychiatrists, and could not get cured, and I did cure her. And because she knew so many people, she introduced me to so many, for over 100 people. I used the Fu or talisman to cure her. One time I went to California, so the wife expressed gratitude to me. The wife was the one that lost her mind, and the husband, the Dharma brother, we are still very thankful to you. The principal of the Taming Middle School, Lu Jinghua, Lu Senghua, their family name is also Lu. They also spread the word and introduced so many people. And they told me, asked me, how can I repay you? And I said, no need. But someone is building the Lechang Temple in California, and you can make some donation there. That would be good enough. And at that time, the Wei Guang Temple was being built, and they did make donation, like flowing water. A river full of spring water flow to the east. That's fate. Everything is the best arrangement. T.B. Boyi said it, and I wrote it. Everything is the best arrangement. The water. Buddha has flown to the east, which means it's gone. So the answer to the question by Lian Hua Meng Hua, the proper or the upright Qigong living Buddha. Since you said it is upright, then we believe in you that he was the proper Qigong living Buddha. And you got startled there and drank 7 talisman, and you were still faithful toward Grandmaster. That's good. Then you don't lose your lineage blessings. Why? Because she couldn't find Grandmaster. She had no way to find Grandmaster for help. It's fine. Because you have no ways to find Grandmaster. So therefore, Lian Hua Meng Hua is still my disciple, and you found the proper Qigong living Buddha. And we have a Qigong living Buddha here too. And of course, our Qigong living Buddha is also the proper one. But at that time, Grandmaster was curing all these weird and strange diseases, and they all completely relied on Golden Mother. I asked Golden Mother for help. Everything. I asked Grandmaster to help, and Golden Mother to help and to take charge. I pray to Golden Mother so that all true Buddha disciples are healthy, safe, earn a lot of money. With that, you have the greatest applause. Let them earn a lot of money, healthy, live longer than the turtles. Let Golden Mother bestow upon them and let them quiet down their minds and to cultivate and practice every day. That eventually everyone would have attainments and everyone can help others. That everyone can deliver sentient beings. This is very important. For Lamdre, we are on point 5. What is being severed? The verse, by not hearing the sound of the drum, destroy. How do you pronounce? Destroy the Mara of satiation, etc. End quote. Means by having the mind qi evenly gathers at the outer character, and after performing the start of affinity, although it is a leaking bliss, it is maintained as a non-leaking bliss. With the body in pleasure and the mind is so blissful to the point of fainting. Even when outside, a huge drum, cymbals, or conch sound loudly, they will not awaken one. Although a sharp edge of a blade enhances the body, it is not destroying anger or annoyance. It is also called, in quote, major muddle-headedness, or, in quote, Mara of satiation, end quote. The preceding thought before destruction stays below the path until the leaking bliss, then the Mara of satiation, of thinking of the non-leaking bliss, and by the start of affinity of the four correct severances, it generated the non-leaking bliss and the supreme meditation close to initial ground. This is called destroy the Mara of satiation, etc. Also, only a part of the Mara of satiation is used in this method. The remainder of Mara of satiation is destroyed through seeing the path. This sums up the instruction on generating meditation of the gathering of the three wands, big, medium, and small, within the three accumulation periods, and the one phenomenon of the form phenomena of the preliminary path. So, what's your insight on this excerpt? Do you have such experience? If you do, please raise your hand. Okay, then Grandmaster will speak. By not hearing the sound of the drum, destroy the Mara of satiation, etc. Let me tell you. This is a kind of bliss. This is considered an inner bliss, which is different from the outer bliss. Although it is called the leaking bliss. So this leaking is not leaking the light drops, but it is in the realm of leaking. So the bliss is not the term leaking is not in the transcendent power with no leakage. That as mundane beings, we are all in the realm of leakage. Whether it's man or woman, we are all leaking. But all of this are leaking. And this part, by not hearing the sound of the drum, destroy the Mara of satiation, etc. So, when you are experiencing the bliss, that kind of bliss is referred as Mara. We are not talking about the mundane bliss, we are talking about the inner bliss. When you experience bliss once, there would be bliss, and then superior bliss, supreme bliss, and innate bliss. So 4 kinds of blisses, of 4 kinds of bliss. So like the satiation is like greed. So if you are always greedy toward it and insatiable, then it would be called Mara. So what do you need to break that kind of inner bliss? When the inner bliss is to the ultimate, even your ears will not hear any other sound. Even when they play the drums, you are so blissful that you don't even hear the sound of the drum. The symbols. Do we have symbols here? Do you pronounce it as ba in Chinese? Yeah, that's it. Let me show the sound of the drum. Symbols. Conch, like a trumpet made from conch. I don't know if I can blow it, if I would make sound. Do you blow it? You can't blow on this. That one, the kind of long. No need to find one for me. I'll do this. I'm wearing rings today. Conch, trumpets, cymbals, drums, when they are played loudly, the bliss will still beyond those. That kind of bliss is very addictive. You would enter into ecstatic. Yeah, so ecstatic. The body is in pleasure, extremely blissful. It just meant extreme blissfulness. To the point of fainting. There was a movie. What was it called? The Sound of Music. So blissful that you almost faint. Such kind of extreme ecstasy. Even such loud concerts or sounds will not awaken you or make you aware. So even when you use the sharp edge of a blade to cut, they will not feel anything, will not create worry. It's just to show the extreme ecstasy, but please don't use blades to cut, Grandmaster. Such blissfulness is beyond words. So this kind of blissfulness is also called the major muddle-headedness, or also called the Mara of satiation, which is the Mara when you are so obsessed and greedy. So at that time, it's still considered the leaking bliss. The bliss is a bliss. It's still leaking. So the Mara of insatiable, because you are so insatiable and greedy. At this time, you use the four correct severances to stop this, to cut this off. It generated non-leaking bliss and the supreme meditation close to initial ground. So the supreme meditation of the first ground, Grandmaster has experienced this. So this is called destroy the Mara of insatiability. So the Mara of being insatiable and greedy. So only a part of this Mara of avariciousness is used in this method. And the bliss, supreme bliss, superior bliss, and ultimate bliss. The remainder of Mara of insatiability is destroyed through the seeing the path. What is seeing the path? That's very profound. You have to experience it yourself. What is emptiness? Seeing the path means seeing the empty nature. You have seen the Buddha nature. By the emptiness of the Buddha nature, you destroy the greatest kind, the supreme bliss. You break them apart. This sums up the instruction on generating meditation of the gathering of the three warms, big, small, and medium, within the three accumulation periods and the warm phenomenon of the formula of the preliminary path. So big, medium, and small warms. Warms meaning the progress of meditation. Big, medium, and small progress of meditation. And the most important one is the desire for this bliss can be remedied by knowing that this bliss is also empty. Then you will not be so greedy about it. So this bliss is also empty. Moreover, the mundane bliss is of course also empty. The kind of bliss due to the light drops circulating inside the body, that the light drops do not leak, it transcends the bliss of the mundane. And even then, they're all empty. And then, therefore, you will not have the insatiable desire and greed. So, to make the body in pleasure and the mind in great pleasure during meditation is due to the light drops and qi and inner fire moving inside the channels inside your body. The frictions of them would generate the bliss and pleasure of the body and mind. That kind of description of bliss, if you cannot let them go and you like to be in it all the time, and you become so greedy and become insatiable by it, then it would become Mara. And then you have to sever it, to cut it off, by knowing that this kind of bliss is also empty. So then you would be able to enter into the clear light radiance. So the first step is to generate bliss, the bliss of meditation. And then you can move on to generate the clear light radiance of the meditation. So then in the future you would be able to generate the meditation of clear light radiance. Yesterday the wife went home to her parents and I sent her off, and I was waiting for her at the train station, and the wife said, "It's so cold, why don't you go home?" And the husband said, "Well, I will not feel at ease until you get on the train." And the wife said, "Hey, but I'm so old already. Just be rest assured, I'll be fine." But the husband replied, "Hey, what I'm afraid of is that you don't get on the train." Oh my gosh. There was some disciple that came to Seattle with his wife. And the wife was about to go home. And the husband looked like this, with the head drooping. The wife is going back to Taiwan. I'll be alone here, and send her off to the airport. And the wife was going in and said, "Don't be so sad. Don't droop your head. Please take care of yourself after I leave." And eventually, the wife entered into the airport. And then the husband immediately get energized, and he jumped back home. There's even a joke about cold. Oh, in this cold weather, going to work, we have to suffer from the northeastern wind. In Taiwan, we have the northeastern wind, which means the cold drift, the cold wind. But if we don't go to work, then we drink. We have nothing to eat, which means you breathe in or you drink in the northwestern wind, which means you have no money. The giraffe was married to the monkey, and a year later the giraffe wanted a divorce, and he said, I don't want to go up and down. And the monkey said, sure, let's get divorced. Who had to climb the tree to get a kiss. They are incompatible. When I was little, my mom went to the toilet and then there's no toilet paper. So she shouted at me and asked for tissue paper, toilet paper. I couldn't find any, so I tore 2 pieces of paper from my older brother's notebook. And when she got out, she beat my older brother and cursed him. You little brat, you wrote about me in your composition that I look ugly and look like the violent god or something. This one's good. The teacher asked Xiaoming, what do you want to be when you grow up? And Xiaoming said, I want to be in the military. And why? Because I like it. The motto of in the military. And what's the motto? Stand up. So get it with power. This is play of words. That always just look money. Always go for money. So earn it to the left, earn it to the right, earn it at the back, and then 1, 2, 1. So it's like a trillion, and at rest it sounds like get the interest. So life is just a joke. Human life is a joke. Actually, it's nothing. Grandmaster has practiced for so long and had fruition. I had practiced even this. Someone asked me, you're non-leaking. Where is your bliss? How blissful are you? And Lamdre had mentioned it very clearly. Where is your bliss? You know, let me tell you, it's like flowers blooming in your heart. It's beyond your imagination. It turned out to be blissful inside, not outside. That by meditating, you would be able to attain the inner blissfulness. When the light drops are moving in your channels, when your inner fire are circulating inside the channels, when your qi circulating inside your channels, it's like what he wrote here. The body in blissful pleasure and the mind is in ecstasy. So meditation definitely go through this period when the qi channels and light drops are moving inside your body. Then there would be such kind of bliss that's beyond words and beyond description. And it's definitely not the mundane kind of bliss. That's all for today.